Awesome. So I've got a few. Do you have? You want some? Add some?
Yeah.
Okay, real quick. Yeah, go for it. Do one.
We should do some agave love soon.
So last time I came up here, even though I had them written on paper, I panicked and forgot some of my jokes. I should probably give a little backstory. I was just talking to one of my peeps over there, and that response actually ties in, so we'll get there in a minute. So basically my entire life I've always been awkward and dorky, probably because I've always been trying to be like really suave. And I just realized that I would never be like that for no matter how hard I tried, and I tried like really, really hard. And so I kind of stopped trying to be suave, and then I realized that as I was talking to primarily adults, they'd just be laughing and laughing while I was talking. I didn't know what was going on. But hey, they were like giving me positive feedback, and I was like knee-high to a grasshopper, so I'm like, I must continue this It took me till I was probably about 17 to figure out that they kept laughing at me because I was awkward and dorky, and that I should probably embrace it at some point. And so that's why I am awkward and dorky and tell dorky jokes, because it actually works for me. Because trying to tell complicated jokes just doesn't. It really doesn't. Yeah. So, like, one of my jokes is actually kind of an uplifting story, and I think I've probably told some of you, but it's actually my coming out story, and it's for me, like, my experience ended up being kind of a joke. I mean, it completely makes sense with just how I am. So, I've been in the closet to myself, for the longest time, and, all of a sudden in high school, I'm like, wow, man, girls are really pretty. At first, I just told myself, I'm just being objective. I can tell if someone's pretty without being attracted to them, and back in my mind, I'm like, hey, you're a liar. I was seeing, girls that were attracted to girls, and some girls that were attracted to both guys and girls. But I wasn't like them at all. They were cool. And they, knew how to do makeup. And this is, one line of eyeliner that I've dulled down so it's really easy, so it makes a really thick line, because that's a daytime look because it's supposed to be sharp. And then the nighttime look, you're supposed to have eyeshadow. And the thing is that over the day, the eyeliner starts to smear, and so then it starts looking like eyeshadow. It's pretty much zero And I was talking about coming out. And so then I came to college, and I was learning more about these terms, and I went to the drag show. For those of you who don't know, we hosted the Gender and Sexuality Alliance hosts a drag show here every semester to raise money for a charity. And so I went to a couple drag shows, and at the second drag show I went to, I'm like, yeah, I'm not straight. So I decided that, because I knew about the dangers of coming out. And I was raised Roman Catholic, although we have the most liberal church. I haven't asked any of the priests, but I honestly am not sure if they would marry a gay couple, but they're support support equal marriage in the civil sense because your civil duty needs to have a boundary from your theology. And these were like Catholic priests, 3 of them. Okay. I don't know if they just like walked through the doors and if I was like letting off some sort of rainbow infectious energy. Who knows? Maybe I'm contagious. I thought the only time that rainbow could get rubbed off on you was when you were doing tie-dye. But hey, I'm open to that. So I was like, back to the other story. Okay, so I was raised Roman Catholic, but my parents were also very, very Christian. I was really worried about them. And so before I went home for J-term a year ago, I was like, okay, so I have enough funds to survive for this long. The food pantry is here. There's an apartment over here. I know of a shelter over here that I can get transportation this way. This is how much it's going to cost. Here's my identification. The day before, I packed up everything I would need, just in case I had to get out of Dodge. Yeah. Okay. So the way I figured I was going to do it was we were sitting down for dinner. I'm like, hey, guys, well, I want to get some food on their stomachs so they'd be a little bit more docile. And I said, hey guys, after supper, do you think we can have a family meeting? And my twin brother, who I thought, would be just totally down with it, he said, you're not coming out, are you? And I just laughed. I'm like, bro, come on. And then I was sent into a panic. And then I was eating food, and I'm like, hey, I think I might be coming down with the flu. I just don't think I should probably eat much more unless you want to see it again, so I think I'll stop there. Yeah, our dinner table discussions tend to be like, usually not what you would imagine dinner table discussions to be. It tends to include some sort of like vomit or dirt or blood. Well, primarily because my brother, there's a klutz, so there's usually some talk of injury. But afterwards, I said, okay, so I know, Anthony, you said, hey, you're not coming out, are you? And I said, yeah, I actually am coming out. And then my parents looked at me like that. And I said, really? You said more surprising things. And see, I knew that they thought I was gay, which, and I said, okay, so I'm not gay. And then they're like, so are you on drugs? And I'm like, no. I'm pansexual, which just means that I don't discriminate between sex and gender when it comes to attraction. It's not really a barrier for me. And I'm like, well, okay. So can you just, there's a lot of difficulties for people who aren't straight, so can you just choose to go out with men instead? No. And then I told them, that's not it. And they're like, what? And I'm like, well, you know what? There's a difference between sex, gender, and sexuality. And then I spent like 20 minutes trying to explain. They just I was jumping all over the place. I had a nice speech planned out. I even had like this little note cards, but as you see, they don't really work. And I was like trying to say, okay, so it's like a spectrum. And they're like, so where are you? And I'm like, I guess I'm not on there. And I said, so I'm actually bi-gender, which means I identify as both man and woman. And my mom said, but you're a girl. I'm like, yeah, I'm female-bodied. So you're a girl, you're a woman. No. Not quite. And so, yeah, then I spent like another half hour trying to explain it to them, and then Anthony walked out of the room and said, I'm going to bed because I have a headache now. And then they were like, yeah, us too, this is boring. I was like, okay. And then I was just like, I don't know if any of you saw this, but I was like being as out as I could, and as much as I could the next semester, because I'm like, I'm out now. This is new. So that's my coming out. That's my coming out story. But okay, so are y'all okay with like a little bit of profanity in my next joke?
Yeah.
It's another one of my short fire jokes. You want to know the difference between a bull and an orchestra?
Oh, I know this one, I think.
In a bull, the horns are in the front and the asshole's in the back. You want to know the difference between a trombonist in the road and a dead snake in the road? There are skid marks around the snake. Self-deprecating humor. It's definitely very rampant in the music community. I'll definitely say that. But it's all in good fun. And do you know the difference between a banjo player at a bus stop and a trombone player at a bus stop? The banjo player was probably on his way to a gig. You want to know a trombone player who has a pager? Hopeful.
Oh, goodness. Keep going.
So, do you want to know why they call a bass trombone? That's basically an extra big trombone that allows you to get really low notes, and it's called tuba stick. Do you want to know why it's called tuba stick? See, a tuba player, they've already accepted their fate as a tuba player. A bass trombone is just on its slide down.